What's up guys, today I'm going to be bringing you guys a video tutorial on how to do Dark Souls save editing. I've seen a couple tutorials out there, none really go in depth at all as to what you can actually do with the save editors. They just show you, basic things like stat editing and stuff like that, but I'll be showing you guys full use of the save editor program today. So the first thing you're going to want to do is download all the links in the description. You're going to see a lot of the links at the beginning part for the mule download, which the mule is basically the character that we will be editing today, specifically user slot 1, but more on that later. Once you have everything downloaded, you're going to want to create a PS3 folder, as I've done on my desktop, and inside of the folder you're going to want to create a save data folder in all capitals, and inside of that you're going to place the mule folder you downloaded from the description, and in here is all the save files and everything we're going to need. So it's important you do it as PS3 save data, then your mule, just to keep everything concise so that when we go to save it on our PlayStation, it'll be in the correct format. We won't have to deal with that later. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and open up brute force save data. Once we do this, or whenever it loads up, you're going to want to at the top you're going to try and find the save path that we created earlier, the PS3 save data folder. So you're going to want to find that and then open it up. In here you're going to see the Dark Souls save file, and you're going to want to go ahead and click on it, highlight it, go to decrypt PFD, decrypt all, and then click yes. And you're going to minimize that. We're going to go ahead and go back to the PS3 save data mule folder here. We're going to drag out the 01 user.dat. We're going to want to rename this to user underscore data 01 or 01. And just remove the .dat file extension, and it's gonna ask you if you want to say, you sure you want to save it? Just say yes. Next, we're gonna open up Modio. This is where we're gonna want to make sure we have the Xbox 360 save downloaded, because we're gonna go and browse, and you're gonna look for it. I save mine just in my downloads folder. It's right there. And then just open. You can go to advanced, edit package contents, and then you're going to want to bring in the user data 01 that we renamed earlier right into Modio. When you're done with that, just hit done, save changes, and then you can minimize that for later. Now we go ahead and start with the fun part. Now we can go ahead and open up our Dark Souls save editor, the actual editor itself. Now once we have this opened up, we want to go ahead and look for the file, the Xbox 360 file, which should, at least for me, it just popped up automatically. But if not, just go and find it. You're going to want to open up user data 01. This is the file we'll be editing. You can go ahead and basically do anything you want. I see I change a character name, if I could spell right, and then the only thing I suggest, I shouldn't say suggest, I recommend not doing is don't do any of the killed bosses. Don't click on any of those. It could mess up the file. It could corrupt the save file. Don't do enable all warp bonfires or unlock all jesters, as the save file already has those. So there's no point in doing that, and it could potentially mess up the save, so we don't want to do that at all. You can go ahead now and do whatever you want. You can change your covenant. The souls is already maxed out. You can change what playthrough your character's on, indictments, level, whatever. Just one thing about the hit points is the max value for hit points is a little over 65,000. I think it's like 65,300 and something. But if you go over that, your character will instantly die as soon as you load up the game. so I recommend not doing that. There is another way to have infinite health. Um, Considering that you have 65,000 hit points here, I'm not gonna bother showing that because then, I mean, that's just too cheesy. So, if you figure it out for yourself, good. If you don't, well, 65,000 hit points is a lot of health, so hopefully you don't die from that. Here you can change any of your character settings. You see me going through. The one thing I wouldn't do any of the default. There you see me click on default. I wouldn't do that. Change anything there. I'm not sure what it does exactly. I've never actually done it. I don't think it'll do anything good though, so I wouldn't bother with that. And here you can see you can change your hair color, and you can change it to whatever color you want. The values I'm entering in give like a goldish blonde color, because I don't think the drop down menu for hair eye color display actually works, so I just entered in myself. And for here, for skin lightness, the lower the number, the more dark your character is, or more red actually. So I changed to 83, which is like a tan color. Another thing here is on the equipment tab, don't even bother with any of that. What we're mainly concerned with is inventory and item database. Inventory is going to show us all of the things we have on our character right now, and an item database has all the items in Dark Souls. What we're going to want to do, so if you want to add things in, which is a lot of tutorials I've seen don't show you how to do, is let's say we want to add in some modded weapons or things that were in the game originally. You just see me, I typed in an asterisk. Type in an asterisk and it'll bring both, it'll search the database for all items with an asterisk, and the ones with the asterisk are ones that aren't in the game, that you can't find normally. So you see here there's modded armor, plus 10 great robes, crystal great sword plus 5-star, things like that. And there's a crystal great sword plus 15. Arrows are upgraded. The mage smith, elite cleric armor, stuff like that you can find here. So let's say we want to add all these, so we'll do check all items, which I'll put a check mark next to all of them. You can do it manually as well, but obviously it'd be a lot easier to check all these. Then just do add all checked items. What that does is it goes through and adds it all for you to your inventory. So see 263 items added. So we'll go back to our inventory, and we'll just refresh it. And this right here, after you refresh it, and if you go down to the bottom, you'll see it added in all of the things we wanted to add into our inventory. And you'll see all these immediately once you spawn into the game. You'll see these, and they'll be on your character, in your inventory slots. Here I'm going to show you how to get max quantity of a certain thing you've added in, because once you add in an item, it'll only add in one. What you're going to want to do is select a certain classification of items you want to be maxed out. So for here, since we want the ammo to be maxed out, we're going to click on the ammo, drop down, and we're going to go max out quantity of this section. This is going to go through and max out all of the arrows that we've added in. So all the modded arrows that do extra damage, we'll be able to max out the quantity of each of those without having to go through and doing each of them manually. Let's say you can do this also for things such as usable items. So one thing the save doesn't have is divine blessings. So I'll just search for divine blessings here. And I'll just search for it. There it is. And you're going to want to check it, and you're going to go add all checked item. Now, once we check it in, we'll just refresh the items. We'll search for it again in our inventory, and we'll right click after we highlight it, and then do max and quantity. Once we're done with everything in here, we can just go to Save All, and we'll minimize. We'll go to User Data in Modio, and we'll drag it back on top of the previous one, which will automatically update it. Go to Rename, and you're going to want to rename it back to o1user.dat. All this is capitalized. Then we're going to want to open up the mule folder where we got it originally from, and we're just going to drag it, and we're going to drop it. Once we do this, you can just exit out. We won't, shouldn't need to be back in there anymore. And we'll go to brute force, and then you're going to want to update PFD and then partial, and it'll just re-encrypt the file. Now just once you have updated the PFD, you can just take this, put your PS3 file on a USB stick, plug it into your PlayStation, just go to the Save Data utility and copy it onto your PlayStation, and you'll be good to go. Have fun modding.